Hey, everybody. Good Bishop here. Stephen Williams. That's what they call me, but ain't nobody good like our God. Okay. And so I'm here again to talk a little bit about this whole notion about who's the boss, maybe part three. But a little twist to it. So you want the man to be the provider, right? He needs to know how to protect you, right? He needs to be passionate. Got a few more things. He needs to know how to be playful, if you will, be able to not take himself too serious. And he needs to understand all of the right positioning, right? These are my 5 P's. This is even to my daughter. This is what you should be looking for. Okay, but if the man has to be the provider, if he's got to be the protector, if he has to make sure he's passionate about what he's doing, if he's got to be playful, not too serious, right? And he must understand the positioning of himself, you, the family, the children, whole 9 yards. All right. What do you do as a female? That's a part of the question that's coming up right now. Okay. If he's got to be all of these things and you don't want to pay, and I said most women don't mind paying, right? Um, but they don't want to have to do it all the time. Or will you all agree or disagree with me on that? All right. You want him to make sure that he's the protector, right? You want to make sure that he fulfills you in the area of passion, in intimacy. You want him to not be so serious, but you want him to be playful at certain times. And you want him to understand the proper positioning, right, between you and him and his life and the things that he's going, all those things. And there are other things that we want. But what men are struggling with, is what are what do you bring as a female? And so a lot of people say, I'm going to be pretty, I'm going to be supportive, I'm going to be talkative, I'm going to be there for him. But if we don't come into the realizations that those 5 things we have to do, uh, and I think, and not get upset about them, right? We have to be okay with being that. And women can't be gold diggers. I get it. But the question is, what are the other things? What are the other caveats, right? Purity, maybe that's what you should bring. But if you're 30 or 40, you may have already messed up the purity piece. And so it's giving guys the option in their thinking. I'm just thinking through this now, that these guys are just, it's interesting. I'd love to know, what do you all add if the guy has to have all 5 of those things? What do you bring to the plate? I mean, one isn't obvious, right? Dealing in the passion area, but outside of that, see, this thing about money, we talk about it. We talk about making sure you know love and you have love, but there is something else that's going on when it comes to this. You can have God and have love, but those things are not. I'm sensing something else as I've gotten older. Um, and again, this is not for everybody. I don't know if I have the answer. I'm just be curious about how people think and what they think and what you all say. Because the guy's got to be fit, right? He's got to make sure he has some swag. He can't be too boring. Got to be aggressive, but not too aggressive. And it's like, what is the thing that the man is looking for in return from the female? If you're not bringing money, right? Because we're not interested, according to Kevin Samuels. If you're not protecting us, now you can bring the passion, but we have to equally bring that passion, or it doesn't work. We have to be playful. We can't walk around here and be serious all the time. We have to make sure, and we have to understand our role and our position in life. And if we don't do those 5 things are necessary and required as a man, and especially as a father. And we'll get to that a little bit later. But the question is, what does the woman bring to the plate if he has to bring all of that, other than the passion, which is what, there's another word for it, but this is not that kind of channel. But if you don't bring that, all right, so what else? Tell me what else. And this is what we've got to talk about coming up when we're getting ready to get our sons and daughters, and we're trying to get them to be married and have companionship. And I'm almost afraid of people listening to older people who've already had a husband, because sometimes, boy, you get frustrated and you don't think marriage is what it's cracked up to be. But I'm telling you, it's still necessary and needful, or you're going to have no real connection and no real family value. It's going to be separate. You're going to have to, it's going to be separate. It's really going to be a separate society. Maybe that's where we're going. Let's talk about it. Hey, I'm Stephen Williams. Call me the good bishop. Ain't nobody good like our God. I'm out. Let's talk in the comments. Let's have a discussion.